A horrific murder in the heart of upmarket Islamabad. For 3 days, 27-year-old Noor Mukadam was held hostage, tortured and beheaded by a male friend.
The way I see crime, that changed for me.
Her killer is from one of Pakistan's wealthiest and most influential families. Noor was just one of thousands of women subject to violence from a man she knows personally.
The way things are in this country, it could be anyone.
And women across the country are demanding change.
अभी मैं चाहती हूँ कि अगर मेरे अब्बू के खिलाफ एक्शन लिया जा सकता है.
Pakistan is battling with a gender violence epidemic. The country ranks 167 out of 170 on gender insecurity. A 2018 survey found nearly 1 in 3 women have experienced domestic violence in Pakistan. The true figure could be higher because of a reluctance to report. One woman leading the charge in the battle against gender violence is Assistant Superintendent Amna Beg. She was also involved in investigating Noor's murder.
It was one of my first heinous cases in Islamabad because I live here in this city. I always considered Islamabad home, and when you think of home, you think it's safe. But then when this happened, it just shook me as a person because I had never realized that something so heinous can happen in a city like Islamabad too.
Tucked away in a market is Islamabad's district court, and Noor Mukadam's killer is on trial. Tensions are high, with the whole country following the case and the fate of the accused murderer Zahir Jafar closely. As he's transported to court from the cell, I questioned him.
Why did you do it, Zahir? Why did you kill Noor, Zahir? What do you have to say to your family, Zahir?
He refused to answer. Female officers still make up just 3% of Islamabad's police force, but they're increasingly playing a leading role. Amna Beg is in charge of security on the case.
It must really matter to you, this case, because you've been there from the start.
Absolutely. I think it not only matters to me, it matters to the whole of Pakistan. You know, it's for all the women of this country. We are trying our best to ensure that more women are safe from such incidents in the future, and we're very hopeful that this case is going to set a precedent in that regard. Yeah.
How does it feel for you as a woman yourself?
I think it was one of those cases where I felt that the way I see crime, that changed for me. All of the women of the country were looking up to us, and that is how I see it. It wasn't just, a thing that I did for my job. It was way more than that. It was for the women of Pakistan.
Amna wants to revolutionise policing for women in Pakistan. With a team of officers, she set up the country's very first gender protection unit.
The reason that we made this unit so that, more women who are in danger, who have a billion other thoughts going in their minds when they think of reporting, they could just know that the comfort should come from the fact that, it's the female police officers who would be coming to you. It's the female police officer who would be responding to your calls. Your identity would be protected. You would not be going to a police station, So all of these things are very comforting when you talk to a victim.
In its first 3 months of opening, the unit has dealt with 550 cases. Nearly half of those cases relate to domestic violence. This afternoon, a new complainant has come to the Gender Protection Unit. And as investigating officer Anila carries out her interview, it transpires that this 20-year-old, who we're calling Sania, has had a troubled past.
मेरा ये है कि मैं 13 साल की थी तो मेरी मम्मा छोड़ के चली गई थी.
किधर चली गई थी मम्मा छोड़?
डिवोर्स ले ली थी.
अच्छा।
तो मेरे अब्बू जो है वो मेरी मम्मा से भी काम करवाते थे। मेरी मम्मा की शादी हुई है तो मेरे अब्बू ने 1-2 महीने बाद उनको इसी काम में डाल दिया था। तो फिर मेरी मम्मा ने 8 साल काम किया।
किस काम में डाल दिया था मम्मा ने?
अब्बू ने मेरी अम्मी को इस काम में डाल दिया था, गलत काम में। रातों को बाहर जाती थी, पैसे लेके आती थी और अब्बू मेरे पाउडर पे लगे हुए थे।
अच्छा।
तो अम्मी पैसे लाती थी और 13 साल की थी तब छोड़ के चली गई थी वो। और उसके बाद फिर अब्बू ने मुझे इस काम पे लगा दिया था तकरीबन 2 महीने बाद। अब्बू मुझे मारते भी होते थे, मतलब कि जुल्म भी करते होते थे।
अच्छा।
तो वो बंदा मुझे मिला तो उसके आगे मैं रोई। मैंने कहा मैं ये काम नहीं करना चाहती ना। तो मैं हर किसी के आगे रोती हूँ, बोलती हूँ मुझे इस काम से बचाओ, कोई भी नहीं मदद करता है। तो उसने मेरी बात सुनी, उसने कहा ठीक है मैं आपसे शादी करूँगा।
जी अभी आप हमारे पास आई हैं ना, तो किस सिलसिले में फिर आप क्या चाहते हैं, हम किस काम को करें?
अभी मैं चाहती हूँ कि अगर मेरे अब्बू के ख़िलाफ़ एक्शन लिया जा सकता है।
Anila decides that she needs to speak to Sania's father urgently. She'll go to his house to issue him with a witness summons, calling him to the police station for questioning.
सानिया, आप क्या सोचते हो अभी? जी?
वुमेन पुलिस ने मुझे तहफ़्फ़ुज़ दिया।
अच्छा।
तो मेरे साथ एक्शन लिया, मेरे साथ खड़ी उसी टाइम एक्शन लिया। जबकि इस्लामाबाद पुलिस को मैंने एप्लीकेशन लिखवाई थी, जिन्होंने कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया, कुछ भी नहीं किया। वुमेन थाने में मैं गई थी और जब उन्होंने मेरा मसला देखा, मैंने उनको बताया तो फिर उन्होंने एक्शन ली और मेरी मदद करना चाहा।
Officer Anila decides we have to stop by another police station on the outskirts of Islamabad to secure armed backup.
नफी 2 बंदे भेजने?
हाँ 2 भेजते।
ठीक है।
हाँ ईगल भिजवा देता, बाइक पे आ जाए।
An operation like this can be unpredictable and it could be dangerous.
अच्छा, हमारे साथ कौन आएगा अभी?
अभी 2 हम लेंगे ना कांस्टेबल इनसे, ताकि हमारी हेल्प के लिए गनमैन होंगे ना, तो तब ताकि कोई मजामत ना हो। हाँ।
तो ऐसी ऑपरेशन में आप हमेशा और किसी और ख़वातीन होंगे?
जी जी बिल्कुल।
आपको डर लगती है कभी?
डर डिपार्टमेंट में आने के बाद नहीं, स्टार्टिंग में था, अब नहीं है।
हाँ।
अब अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बिल्कुल। फादर भी हैं, इसी डिपार्टमेंट में सब इंस्पेक्टर हैं।
तो इसलिए आप भी पुलिस
इंस्पायरेशन है, इज इंस्पिरेशन फॉर मी।
अच्छा।
Sania's father's house is in a poorer district of the city, but violence against women cuts across classes. And it was behind the gates of an affluent home that Noor was tortured and murdered. I've come to meet Noor's father, Noor Mukadam, a retired diplomat, at his lawyer's office. He's determined to secure justice for his daughter.
Uncle, tell me about Noor. What kind of person was she?
Well, Noor was a very friendly person. If she could be of any use to other human beings, that was a sort of a attitude she had. Naturally, as parents, we are very much upset about the whole thing because we have lost our daughter. This is not the question of Noor now, it's a question of all daughters of Pakistan, that they get justice, that nobody can dare to murder somebody just like that.
You say you are now fighting for the other daughters of Pakistan. What message do you want to send out to those men who try to hurt women?
This will be also an exemplary case, and this will give a lot of strength to all the daughters of Pakistan, that if anything, God forbid, comes to them, then they will get justice.
But just why would a man brutally torture and murder a woman? Prosecutor Shah Khawra has spent months preparing to bring Noor's killer to justice.
Both the families were in good relations. They had very frequent visitors of each other's houses, and on different occasions they used to be together. But what we have found, that the victim, the lady, she was not much comfortable with him for the last 3-4 months. I believe that sheer anger or something, some impression like this, Since we have information that she had refused marrying him, and he was very much offended and angry. And I believe that during the span of almost 38 hours, when she was under the control of the main culprit, finally when he found that she is not going to fulfill his demand of marrying him, then he murdered her and brutally murdered her.
Amna Beg was involved in Zahir Jafar's interrogation, and she's also investigated many other cases of men attacking women.
I think one of the most interesting things about interviewing these accused is that they always have just one defense, and the defense is always, it's at times it's mind-boggling when you hear them say that about women who are old and who can barely walk, and the only defense is that, you know, she was seeing someone else, she was talking to a man. So they feel that whatever they did was right because they were trying to protect their own honor. So the defense always lies in the honor. I've never interrogated a single accused who has said otherwise. They always take that defense.
The Gender Protection Unit is trying to empower women into reporting violence early. That's not straightforward in a society with few safety nets. But it's given Sania the confidence to come forward. On the way to her father's house, she told us about how he used to coerce her into prostitution.
जो क्लाइंट्स थे वो कहाँ से आते थे?
वो क्लाइंट उनके मैच्योर हैं, बच्चियों के साथ सेक्सुअली रिलेशन रखते हैं, और ये क्लाइंट बड़े होते हैं जो।
अच्छा, उनकी एज तकरीबन
50 से ऊपर।
50 से ऊपर।
मर्दों का मुझे तरफ नहीं रहा।
हाँ।
वहशत है, हर बात के अंदर वहशत लग गया। तो ये आपको कहना कि आप मैं भूखी हूँ, मुझे खाना दे दो, तो वो खाना भी आपको मतलब के बगैर नहीं कहेंगे, पहले बिस्तर पे चलो, फिर आपको खाना लेके देते हैं, ऐसे पानी भी नहीं लेके देते हैं, ऐसे मर्द हैं आपको।
The atmosphere is tense as we arrive.
केड़े साइड से जाना है?
वो वाला घर है।
कौन सा?
वो वाला।
आ जाओ, एक मिनट में गाड़ी दे। नहीं वो जो
Anila speaks to a passing neighbour.
वो कब से नहीं रह रहे इधर?
मैंने लास्ट टाइम देखा था, पिछले हफ्ते वाले दिन देखा था उनको मैंने।
अच्छा, इधर कोई लड़ाई नहीं हुई?
मतलब मेरे सामने तो कोई लड़ाई नहीं, मैं तो उस टाइम आता हूँ देखने के लिए।
It appears Sania's father has left his home, so Anila tries calling him.
एक आपकी बेटी है, वो आई है हमारे पास ना, उनके जो हस्बैंड है उनकी गुमशुदगी की रिपोर्ट लिखवाने ना, तो आप किधर हैं अभी? मैंने कहा आप आ जाए थाने में तो आपके हैंड ओवर कर दें हम।
जी आपने उनको कॉल किया, तो आपने क्या बोला है?
मैंने यही बोला है कि आप आ जाएं, इसको ले जाएं यहाँ के, ताकि उन्हें डाउट भी ना हो। मैंने कहा आ जाए, उनके हस्बैंड का थोड़ा सा है नहीं ट्रेस आउट करने में ना। हाँ नहीं, मैंने उन्हें ये नहीं बताया कि आपके खिलाफ एप्लीकेशन आई है।
Sania will now spend the night in protective custody at the women's police station. For now, she's safe, but it's concerns about the lack of safety that brings thousands of women onto the streets in protest. In the last 4 years, a series of marches denouncing violence against women have been held. Known in Pakistan as the Aurat or Women's March, with every attack, more women take to the streets. And Noor took part too, together with one of her closest friends, Shafaq. The pair were at school together.
So this is another protest. You know, there's a picture of Noor in which she's holding that play card, saying, you know, hang them, etc. I took that picture of her. And just to think of it, 6 months, you know, down the road, I was in that same place protesting for Noor. So, you know, we don't really think, but the way things are in this country, it could be anyone. Like, I got so many messages about, you know, from women telling me how unsafe they feel now. Even now, when I talk to them, they just said that, you know, this incident has just changed the way they think now, how they feel in Pakistan.
Shafak is seeking to keep her friend's memory alive through organising vigils and rallies, as well as a social media campaign.
लेकिन मैं चाहता हूँ कि पाकिस्तान की तमाम बेटियाँ महफूज रहें, उनको ये दिन ना देखना पड़े।
We love you and we miss you. Keep laughing from the heavens till we meet again, inshallah.
In the beginning, I thought that it will die down completely. Everyone will forget this happened, because that's what happens in this country. But people are still following it, so it gives us hope that now it has started a conversation, and that conversation is very important.
Clearly, a lot of women wanted to come out and show support for justice for Noor. Have men been part of that conversation?
They have. So there are two sides of it. Some men have come out, they have protested, they have supported the cause, for justice for Noor. But then there are others who, it's men and women, but we live in a society where there's a lot of victim blaming, and that has been a big part of this conversation. People have questioned, why did she go there? Why was she friends with him?
Despite the collective shock at how women like Noor have been brutally murdered, attempts to secure more rights for women have been met with strong opposition. Socially conservative movements have held counter-rallies against the women's marches. We've come to one of these in downtown Islamabad.
के अंदर जो तूफान बदतमीजी होता है, हम आज मुतनब्बे कर देना चाहते हैं कि इस्लामाबाद की सरजमीन पर हम किसी बेहुदा हरकत को बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
और ये जो इस्लामाबाद में जो औरत मार्च होती है, इनके बारे में आपकी क्या ओपिनियन है?
तो उस चीज़ को, उस बेहयाई को रोकने के लिए, क्योंकि ऑब्सेनिटी जो है वो भी मजहब के खिलाफ है, तो हम ये कहते हैं कि बेशक आप वो करें और औरत मार्च करें, लेकिन वो मखसूस एजेंडा लेके ना आए, जो ऑब्सेनिटी की पर रोक ले, जो औरत को बेहयाई की तरफ लेके जाए या जो फैमिली स्ट्रेंथ को कमजोर करने की तरफ जाए।
The obscenity and vulgarity refers to chants like "My body, my choice" at the Aurat March.
लेकिन वो कहते हैं कि हम आज़ादी चाहते हैं, बस हम अपना चॉइस से लाइफ लीड कीजिए। वो नहीं चाहती है फैमिली की आज़ादी, अपनी चॉइस की आज़ादी चाहती है। वो ठीक नहीं है। अपनी चॉइस इस्लाम देता है। हमारा जो इस्लाम है, देयर इज सम रिलैक्सेशन अबाउट दिस। ये नहीं है कि बिल्कुल कतवन है। हम कहते हैं कि शरीयत के दायरे में बिल्कुल औरत को इख्तियार है। अगर वो किसी मर्द के साथ नहीं रहना चाहे तो औरत को खुला का इख्तियार भी है।
But one of her fellow speakers is less diplomatic about women's rights activists.
हम ये हुकूमत वक्त को मुतनब्बे करते हैं कि अगर उन्होंने ख़वातीन के हुकूक के उन्वान से खुसूसन इस्लामाबाद के अंदर किसी को बेहुदगी की इजाजत दी, तो जमीयत उलमा इस्लाम के कारकुनान भी और जमीयत उलमा इस्लाम की बहनें और बेटियां भी इंशाअल्लाह, जैसे कि कायदे जमीयत ने गुज़िश्ता साल ऐलान किया था कि अगर तुम बाज ना आए तो हम इंशाअल्लाह फिर डंडे से रोकेंगे। रोकोगे ना? निकलोगे ना? बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
And aware there's a conservative base to court in the country, even the former Prime Minister Imran Khan has caused controversy, with comments suggesting men aren't entirely to blame for the problem of sexual abuse. In 2020, he said, "If a woman is wearing very few clothes, it will have an impact on the man, unless they are robots." The Aurat activists believe that comments like these legitimise violence against women. At the Gender Protection Unit, a young working-class couple from Pakistan's Christian minority have come in with their parents. They're being dealt with by Muzammil, who with 27 years on the force is one of Amna's most experienced officers. The young woman, Kiran, says she's been beaten by her husband and his family.
अपने हस्बैंड के साथ किस तरह लड़ाई शुरू हुई?
मैंने बोला मेरी चीनी पत्ती खत्म हुई है, मैं नहीं बना के दूंगी।
अच्छा।
तो मैंने बोला वो शाम को आएंगे तो फिर ले आएंगे।
सही।
इसलिए हमारा झगड़ा हुआ था।
फिर मेके क्यों गई?
उन लोगों ने खुद भेजा था, उन लोगों ने फिर मुझे मारा था।
अच्छा।
फिर मेरी अम्मी लोग आए थे।
Muzammil wants to speak to her husband, Qasim, a welder. While he's being interviewed, we caught up with Kiran's mother.
सुलह ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਚ ਹੁਣ ਨਾਰਾਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਵਾਂਗਾ, ਅਗਰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ? ਅਸਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਆਣਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਆਨੇ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੋਈ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ। ਖੁਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰੱਖੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਲੜਕੇ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਦਾ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹਦਾਇਤ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾ ਕਰੇ।
After interviewing the husband, Muzammil issues him with a warning.
नेक्स्ट टाइम आपने इस तरह नहीं करना, कभी भी लड़ाई नहीं करनी, क्योंकि घर का माहौल सारा डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है, दो फैमिलियां जो हैं वो परेशान हो जाती हैं। अच्छे तरीके से आप लोग रहें।
लेकिन आपने मारा क्यों?
बस वो मैं शायद परेशान था काफ़ी ज़्यादा कि ना इसके वालिदैन साथ देते हैं ना ये मेरा साथ देती है, चुप ही नहीं करते। आपने
तो आप इसी ने मारा?
कंबल था ऊपर, कंबल ऊपर ओढ़ा हुआ था, कंबल के ऊपर से 2-3 थप्पड़ हल्के हल्के लगा दिए। और अभी भी मैं इसीलिए आया हूँ कि मैं उसे घर ले जाऊँ वापस। भाई मैं अपनी गलती तस्लीम करता हूँ, क्योंकि आइंदा से नहीं होगा।
लेकिन वो जो घर आएगी तो आप दोबारा बार उनको थप्पड़ मारेंगे? नहीं मारेंगे।
नहीं मारूंगा।
Muzammil explains why simply getting divorced isn't a straightforward choice and how it can lead to financial struggle and social isolation.
असल में हमारे माशरे में जो लड़कियां हैं ना, उनके लिए परेशानियां तलाक लेने के बाद बहुत ज़्यादा परेशानियां बन जाती हैं। मर्द जो है वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते तलाक याफ्ता औरत को, फिर वो सारी ज़िंदगी बच्ची को ताने सुनने पड़ते हैं कि भाई आपने अगर अच्छी होती तो वो खामद पहले वाला क्यों छोड़ता। इस वजह से फिर हमारी कोशिश ये होती है कि तलाक वाली नौबत ना आए।
Back at court, the trial of Noor's killer is drawing to a close and the verdict is imminent. Lawyers and Noor's family have gathered outside the courtroom. Noor's friend Shafak has been coming to the court regularly for the last 4 months.
What has it been like standing there so close to the person who did this to Noor?
It was extremely difficult. Yeah.
You're still emotionally processing, I can tell.
Yeah. It was just, never thought I would have to do that.
They're still facing a difficult battle, but the female officers of the Gender Protection Unit believe they're beginning a transformation in Pakistan.
I'm very hopeful in a few years it would be a very, I'd say, a more safe society for the women of this country. And not just for those who are fighting for these rights, the activists. I think that the thought process of the public would also be influenced in ways which would be better for gender rights.